Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Open Tabs podcast. We are at episode 10, episode Diaz. My name is Joe.
I'm Billy.
And we're excited to have you here tonight. Pretty fun. You know, I noticed most podcasts drop on Monday night. Or Mondays. Did you notice that? Have you noticed that?
I didn't, but I thought we were being unique, and I guess we are not.
Well, that's okay, because our podcast drops really late on Mondays, like almost sometimes Tuesdays. So it works out pretty well, I think. We are being unique because we do this in the middle of the night.
Did you know that the majority of podcasts never make it past episode 10?
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Indeed.
All right. So we got to make at least one more.
At least.
And then we're solid to go. Yeah.
That's
we made it. You know, Billy, you're always talking about 4 people in our audience. I noticed something today. We have more than 4 people in our audience. Did you know that?
What?
How
many?
18 subscribers.
18.
Joe. And that's funny because I haven't told like my mom or anybody, and so none of my family probably watches the pod yet.
That's cheating, or is that a good idea? And we could like double our numbers overnight.
Yeah, no. If I tell my mom, the whole family is going to start watching. I think so. That would be good, maybe.
Yeah, maybe or not.
Or not. Yeah. Ooh. Well, we're going to start things a little differently this time. We've got our special activity. Our game
special
here.
activity. Not a special activity, Joe. It's special. It's special.
Before we do that, just a disclaimer: if I sound like I'm going through puberty again, it is not the change of life. I had some laryngitis this weekend, so just getting over that.
Not the laryngitis.
I know it's rough, man. It's rough. I could not speak at all day Sunday. I sounded like something was wrong with me. But I got my Vicks vapor steamer going, and I'm back in action.
Man, well, welcome back. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Yeah, not talking sucks.
So, our special activity, we have a few different, we could call them social behaviors. We could call them a number of different things, but these are great or they're terrible, depending on what they are. And just we'll go through them and see kind of where we land on these. And we'd love to hear from you guys too. So drop us a comment and tell us which one of these drives you crazy, or which ones are ridiculous. So right out of the gate, Joe, someone watching, I guess you could say anything, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, somebody watching something on their phone or on their device, full volume, speaker, in a public area.
That's a heck no. That's to me, that's the most embarrassing thing that can happen. Next to like you, I don't know if you've ever been in church and had somebody like hit play on a video in the middle of church.
Oh yeah.
But like, no, it's completely unacceptable socially. You cannot do this. Anytime I've done it, it's been like, oh, my headphones didn't hook up in time and I didn't realize it. And then it's like the most embarrassing thing, because you're watching like a, I don't know, cooking video, or heaven forbid, you're watching some sort of like gun toter video or something. And then people are like, what is that guy watching over there? Like, it's not
I feel
fun.
like it's gotten worse. Maybe it's gotten more accepted. So once upon a time, it was a known thing, because you'd see signs if it was on the subway or something that you have to have your headphones. And people generally use their headphones, but their headphones would just be so loud you could still hear from their little earbuds or from their headphones. Now it's like no headphones in sight, speakerphone full blast.
Oh, this is just like when you're like walking through the grocery store and like, what'd you say? You want what now? And then you can hear the other person on the phone be like,
right.
I said collard greens. And you're like, what are collard greens look like? I mean, it's ridiculous.
So last weekend, my sister, she lives in another state. She's visiting for a few days, and I take her to, it's not fancy, but I take her to a decent Chinese restaurant for a Friday night, enough to where I, put on a different shirt. And so we're going to go and sit in the dining room in the nice Chinese restaurant and have a nice meal, the two of us. And we go to do exactly that. And it's not that large of a restaurant. In the corner there are 2 people. They're sitting shoulder to shoulder, so they're not even facing each other. They're sitting shoulder to shoulder on the same side, and they each have their phone propped on the table with the speaker going full volume, side by side, watching two different things, not talking to each other. And so you've got the music in the background from the dining room, and then you've got not one but two speakerphones going simultaneously in the back corner of the restaurant. But I'm sitting there going, I was
No.
just as upset at the owner of the restaurant for not asking them to turn off the speaker. Like,
Yeah.
people are here. It's a Friday night. We're here to have a nice meal. It's
That's crazy.
unbelievable. There's no shame. Or, and this is a little different, but if I'm driving Uber and I get that now this is not public anymore, this is sort of, it's a semi-private setting, but in the back seat, I might have music going quietly and I'll be happy to turn it off or change it to something else. But they're blaring a speaker phone of their TikTok videos. It could have profanity, and I'm driving, it's my car. And I'm like, headphones, no headphones.
No,
And
yeah,
come
that's just
on.
wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong in every level. I think there's a special place in hell for people who don't believe in Jesus and do that. Uh, so I don't know what it's like exactly, but I hope it's just as bad for them as they've made it for all of us.
Joe, does it bother you when somebody stands too close to you in line?
Oh yeah, yeah. It bothers me when my kids stand too close to me in line, much less strangers. And that's the thing, like, a lot of other cultures don't have, like, uh, I think in the US, we were social distancing way before COVID in line. Like, there's a certain level at which, unless you're like actively getting onto the ride, you're not, shoulder to shoulder with people. And it's weird. If someone, you can always tell when you're next to people who don't, like, maybe aren't from here and they don't have that. This
Yes.
is a good example. We were at Disney 2 weeks ago. We went to Disneyland and we stayed for their little light parade thing. And the way it works for the parade is if you get there early enough, you sit on the curb right on Main Street, and they allow one line of people to stand behind the people sitting on the outside of the rope or whatever. And we had a family that was from a different country, not sure which one. Sorry about that. And the girl kept sitting literally like fighter pilot tandem right behind my son. And he's like, "Why is she doing this?" It was really, really awkward. And someone kept telling her, someone else, not from a different country, kept going, "They said you can't sit if you're behind them. You have to stand." And my son is just like, "Please make it go away. Please make it go away. Please make it go away." But people just don't have any sense about them, at least when they come to the States, about like personal space. Like, we need personal space, man.
Definitely, it varies. It's a cultural thing for sure. In the setting, if you're in a crowded bus, maybe that's different. But if you're in a grocery store and there's plenty of space and they could easily have a step or two back and they're just right up on you, like, whoa, buddy,
Yeah.
what do you need?
Are
What do
you
you
are
need?
you like trying to look at what I got for dinner going on? Like, leave me alone.
How about do we still see chivalry where on a bus or on a train, a gentleman gets up to offer the seat to a lady or an elderly person? What about
I do
that?
that. I do that, and I make my kids do it every
I do
time.
too. What
Not
about
even
what about lifting the bag or somebody leaving their bag in a seat next to them as opposed to picking their bag up so it becomes a seat for somebody else?
yeah. I will have like some. I mean, I don't ride public transportation that often, to be honest. But I do like having my bag next to me in case I need to get into it. But obviously, if someone is looking for a chair, I pick it up and put it on my lap. Or better still, I'll just get up. I run into this is like rental car shuttles.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, uh, I don't know why it bothers me so much to see, like, women or like old ladies or like, you know, even little kids, whatever, standing around on a rental car shuttle when I can't be sitting in a chair if there are people standing up. Like,
Mm.
unless it's all dudes, I'll keep my chair. But if it's not, I stand up and I will leave that seat empty before I sit in a seat when there's like other people, and I don't know, somebody's going to say it's sexist. It's not sexist. The point is I I'm not going to do that. Like, chivalry's not dead. I would rather have the kid or the lady with the walker or, the pregnant lady or whoever sit down. Even an older gentleman, like I would get up and have an older gentleman sit in my seat. Like, it's not a gender
I think
thing.
it's
It's
respectful. I
it's an
do.
ability thing, right? Like, it's obviously easier for me to stand on a moving vehicle than it would be for a guy who's 75, 80, 85, 90, right? So yeah, I agree. You have to get up.
You know, a little slight tangent. I heard this rule of thumb many, many years ago, and it always stuck with me. This is not a sexist thing or anything. This could just be a younger person and an older person. Okay, so
Hmm.
just say two guys, a younger person and an older person. The younger person, realizing that he, let's say he is the younger person, should never mention it. Should never mention it that I'm the younger person or you're the
Hmm.
older person. Or pardon me, I said it backwards. The older person should never mention it, that I'm the older person, and the younger person should never forget it.
Mm.
So the older person never mentions it. I'm your elder, and the younger person never forgets it. He's older than me. So there's no verbalization, but both have it in mind that there's a respect, that there is some degree of hierarchy there. The older person, he's not going to throw it in your face. The younger person, he's never going to forget it. He's not going to lose that sense of respect that
D-
this is my elder, this is an older person. And so there is these unwritten rules, and it seems like over time, sometimes they sort of fade or they erode from our collective society, as it were.
Is this? Do you think the respecting the elderly or being mindful of the elderly is one that we've lost a step in?
I think in the States, certainly,
Yeah,
maybe not everyone, but
I think
it's
the
not, it's
younger
going in the wrong
generation has
direction.
definitely lost a step.
Sure. And the same, and we've mentioned this in other episodes, the same is true not just with respecting the elderly, but respect in general, respecting law enforcement,
Mm,
respecting a teacher, respecting a manager. And there are times when you stand up and you don't go along and whatnot, but it can always be done with respect. I think that there is never an excuse for rudeness. There's never an
hmm.
excuse for rudeness ever.
Hmm.
There's always a way to do and say what you want to do and say in an appropriate manner without being rude. And that respect is owed to somebody that is older, that is somebody that's in authority. Even if
Absolutely.
I'm even a parent, I can how do you honor a parent without doing what they're telling you to do? If you're an adult, there's ways to do it. You can still honor and respect them
Yeah.
without obeying what they're telling you to do as an adult, and they're they're
Yeah.
your parent.
Well, small story about this. I actually, I'm generally pretty cognizant of I'm starting to be more cognizant thanks to ChatGPT and their guidance in my behavior.
Chester.
Um, yeah, but I've become more cognizant of when I get defensive, and a lot of times when you are reacting defensively, your level of respect for someone will go down because you'll react in a way that's disrespectful to kind of take the heat off yourself, right? So I did this with somebody that I respect the other day, and he didn't think anything of it. We just went about our day, but it really stuck with me. And I was just sitting there at the end of the day and I was like, man, that was stupid. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. That was I was being defensive and that was disrespectful. And you know what I told him? Um, we got on when we were on the phone the next day. I said, "Hey, man, this probably didn't even register for you, but I've just got to say it." And I apologized and I said, that's not the guy I want to be. I don't want to be that kind of person. I respect the heck out of you, and I'm sorry." And you know what's funny is he said, "I didn't think twice about it," but he was so touched by the fact that I did think about it, and I came back and said something about it. And I think that just to your point, Billy, I think that speaks to this utter lack of true respect that we find in, in society today, and how much it's valued when we show it. You know what I mean? I think y- people value that. And when we don't show it and we go back and we own it and we say, hey, we should have, people value that too.
I think so, and especially when the opportunity arises, if there's kids around, a kid seeing a parent or a role model of any sort being humble and owning something, even if it seems minor, but owning it and saying, I said this, I'm sorry, I was wrong, or I didn't mean this. That is such an important and lacking um, illustration
Yeah.
that we can make it a part of teaching and raising up the younger generation because it's a win-win. It's a win.
Right.
Oh, if I admit such and such, they're going to think less of me. To the contrary, their respect shoots up,
Right.
especially if it's something that you could have easily just kind of let it go and you go back and say, I want to make sure this we're good, and like, yeah, I respect that. Thank you. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I will say you really touched on something important there. This is completely tangential. We're going to get on to the next one here, but something that's really important there. I think parents have to model um, both the humility and I don't know what other word to use, but like the contrite manner, right? Where I'm willing to admit when I mess up. I'm willing to ask my kids for forgiveness. I'm willing to say I have to treat my kids with respect because I'm the one who's responsible for modeling respect to my children. Um, and I see parents, man, who treat their kids like, I mean, just um, um, it- I ran into this the other day, and I I saw a parent just like berate their kid, and it was a joke, and that's just how they are, or whatever. And it was like, man, you don't understand. You're training disrespect into these children, and that's the way they're going to be with other people. And sure enough, it's the way they are with other people. And you just, you know, you can be funny, you can have a good time, you can be sarcastic, whatever. But if there's not an underlying note of, hey, you know what, I respect you at my core, I have nothing but respect for you, then what are you gonna do? Like it's meaningless. It's worthless.
Yep, and I think parents sometimes especially in the moment forget that the kid is not going to always stay a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of relationship do you want with your kid when they are an adult? Because this time of raising them is temporary and it flies by, and they will remember good, bad, and ugly. They will remember how you treated them and how you handled these situations. And do you want to have a relationship when they are an adult of respect and of because then they don't have to be around. They have to be around when they're a kid,
Right.
but they don't have to stick around later. And if you treat them like garbage growing up, and now they're an adult. Oh, okay. Now the child rearing part's over. Let's be pals. And you've caused years and years of trauma and turmoil. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
any parent is perfect, but the kid is not going to just be able to switch a switch and go, oh, well, you totally destroyed me. But now that I'm grown and I don't have to come around, let's just be good old pals. It doesn't work
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Agreed. That was a fun tangent. How about that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna do a couple of these now. Here here's we're gonna talk a little bit about dining etiquette. Um, have have you ever been in a situation where you have noticed that someone either did not tip or did not tip enough when you're like in a Dutch situation or a double bill situation? Has that ever happened to you?
I sometimes I feel guilty for even like trying to spot what they're tipping. Not as a form of a competition, but for that very reason. And sometimes I'm like, I wonder if I can guess based on this friend's character if they're a big tipper or a cheap skate. So I've definitely seen that before, and I have at times made up for it
Yeah.
if they've been kind of. kind of
I'm
a
the
cheap.
same way, and this is why I appreciate going to eat with you, because I'm pretty sure I'm positive that you're going to tip well, provided the service was good, and even if the service wasn't good, I'm still positive you're going to give a customary tip. Um, but yeah, there are people where uh, this happened to me the other day. I was somewhere, I can't remember where, and I ordered a drink. Someone else ordered a drink, and um, they decided not to tip. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Do you just not tip a bartender if they only get you one drink? And I've never done that, but I just always tip because that's what I assume you're supposed to do. But yeah, I have a hard time with that. And I often will, like, if I'm associated with somebody and I think they didn't tip enough, I'll go and make up for it on my side because I feel so bad for the server. And I don't know what it is, but usually the people who are more picky tend to be the ones who aren't as good at tippers, it seems like.
Right. Yeah. The ones that get me though, because I'm pretty, unless it's really great or really terrible, I'm probably going to tip about the same anyways. And I would imagine that's probably fairly common. Somebody's going to tip about the same in general. Uh, the ones that are tricky are the ones that are not full blown table service. So
Oh,
to
yeah.
go orders, or now with the little credit card machines, they'll add a optional tip for everything. You're going through Subway's line. You go through these different ones, um, and I'm going. Wait, what am I? Or drive through? How about the drive through? How about a Starbucks drive through? And now it's like, is the tip expected? Is it actually above and beyond? Am I tipping good service? Am I cheap if I don't tip? Is there a way for me to get this food to go where I don't have to tip? Like, is there
Well,
a way anymore?
no,
I
well,
don't.
I just did this. I ordered from a kiosk at Steak and Shake and asked if I wanted a tip. And I'm thinking, who am I tipping?
Right.
Nobody sat me. Nobody took my order. Nobody brought me a drink. Nobody brought me fries. Who am I tipping? The guy who just handed me my food over the counter? Why am I tipping that person? Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, I agree with that. Like, and two, here. So let me ask you this now: have you seen the memes that are going around? And I think they're primarily rage bait, but where it's like people say you need to triple the first number
Of
or whatever,
course.
and they're
Yep.
like you need to be tipping 40% of your bill or whatever, and you're like, who is asking for a 40% tip?
Right. Right. And this, as far as I know, and I might be wrong, this is very much an American thing. I've traveled around the world, and do tips exist? Certainly, but not anywhere near the way they exist in American culture. I mean, if you're traveling to the United States as a tourist, from the moment you get into our airspace, there's tipping along the way. Somebody's going to handle your baggage. Somebody's going to open the door for you. The food is going to be prepared. The food is going to be delivered. Every little bit is tipping, and it's rarely for good or exceptional service. It's just an automatic
Right,
ex, you know type of thing.
right,
And I think part of that that's gotten out of hand is that the owners are not paying their folks a decent
right.
wage,
Yeah.
you know
When you can get
so
away with not paying minimum wage because tips exist, right? Then all of a sudden, that's the owner is not. And here's the thing, man. I feel like if they can do it in Europe, they should be able to do it everywhere. If they can do it at McDonald's, they should be able to do it everywhere, right? We've just created this cycle, you know. All right. So, what about someone eating off your plate in a restaurant, or just in general, someone eating off your plate? How do you feel about that?
I'm not a fan, but I will I'll play it off as a joke, especially like, once upon a time, long time ago, when I used to date before I was whatever, the person that didn't date. uh, a girlfriend is going to eat off my plate, and absolutely not going to say a word. And even then, I'm like, you could have, you, you could have ordered the thing. You said
Yeah.
you didn't want it, but now you're eating mine. God forbid she wants to eat some of my popcorn. No, I don't want you eating out of my bag of popcorn. I will make you your bag of popcorn. This bag is mine. I will eat this bag of popcorn. Do I will make you 10 bags. I don't want to share my popcorn. Get your hands out of my popcorn. So there, I definitely there's some sort of feeling. There's some sort of feeling with that.
I feel like there's maybe some unresolved issues
It's
with
bubbling up.
popcorn. Popcorn specifically seems to be like a thing. Do you feel that way about chip bags, pretzels?
It's just the popcorn because it's yes, I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Yes,
Yeah.
the answer
Well,
is yes, I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
right. How could you not? It's not very much food. It's low calorie. I get that. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. I was fortunate. I don't like it, and my wife doesn't like it. And so I was fortunate that nobody touches anybody's plate in my house ever. Unless so if my wife I will finish her food. I'll finish somebody's food, sure, their pizza crust or whatever, but I'm not going to go grab it off their plate without asking first. I'll be like, "Hey, you going to eat that?" And I'll take their pizza crust. Or sometimes my wife will like bring me whatever she didn't eat and be like, "Do you want the rest of this?" And I'll be like, "Sure." But just I mean, forking onto somebody's plate without the offer is wrong in so many ways. It's just
Yeah.
and again, I don't feel like you can get much worse than that when you're eating out. Okay, this one really bugs me, and I don't. Uh, I was worried I was going to run into this when we were in California because we ate out quite a few times with other people. But the even bill split, right?
Mm.
I can't handle that. Like you give me separate checks because they're going to pay for what they get. I'm going to pay for what I get. We don't need to be mixing the bill and then trying to figure it out at the end. I had to do this at a restaurant in California. It's the first time I'd done it in like 10 years. And it's so stressful and so annoying. And you never know if you got it right. And the server's certainly not going to tell you if you overpaid. So, yeah,
I
for me,
think
it's a no go.
in general, this is just an awkward thing when, especially if it's individual people or just a buddy and me. Uh, does one person pick up the check altogether and then say, "Well, you'll get the next one," and then I have friends where that happens 2, 3, 4 meals in a row, and then they never pick up the return leg, or do you just say, I pay for what I order, you pay for what you order? I think that's the cleanest, but sometimes it feels strange to suggest that when the server says, "Is this on one check?" And I want to say, "No, separate." And the other person says, "Yep, one check." And I'm like, "Does that mean you're paying for it?" I don't want you to pay for it either. I feel awkward if you pay for it. I feel awkward if I pay for it. It's all kinds of awkward across the board. And then if they are paying for the whole check, I'm going to order differently than if I'm
Yes.
paying for my
Yes.
portion. I would rather pay for my portion and order whatever the heck I want to than go, "Oh, well, they're paying for the check. So you order first. I can't order more than what they're going to order." It's just
Yeah.
awkward. How do we fix this?
Yeah. No, I feel you. I always feel that pressure. Like, I don't know if it was like this for you, but um, I know, like with my wife's family, they never got to order drinks at restaurants. And I remember having to order water most of the time, right? And so whenever someone else is paying, I automatically feel like I have to order water. Uh, and that's really hard because if I'm at a restaurant, I like to have a soda or tea or something with my food. And so I always worry, like, oh no, so you got to wait for them to order and see if they get water. And then you don't know if
Right.
you should get water.
And this and people have ha- varying views on whether you should order water or a soda because of the price.
Yeah.
Uh, and so maybe my boss is picking up the check for the 5 of us for a work lunch. Even then, if everybody else is ordering water, I'm ordering water. But I
Yeah.
would rather fork out the money myself to have the soda because I want to have the soda with the. Just strange. It's just
Yeah.
strange
Yeah.
and awkward.
Okay. That's all I had for food. I can't think. There's some other ones that are I don't know. They're mildly entertaining, but they're not as much fun. Okay. Um. How about this? When you let somebody in traffic and they don't acknowledge that you let them in? Does that bother you?
I hate that it bothers me, but it bothers me. I'm happy to be courteous, please. No, you first. But I want them to wave, and if they can't wave, I wanna see a couple of hazard lights flashing, uh, because I didn't have to let you in, and I chose to. So please give me a little acknowledgement. I will do the same in return. Same thing if I'm holding the door for you at the gas station. I would like a thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And if
Okay.
I don't get it, then I'm mad and I regret letting them in. And that's a reflection more on me than them.
Do you feel like there's a specific kind of car that is less likely to acknowledge you letting them in?
So this gets loaded.
Careful.
This
Careful.
now I'm profiling types of cars, at least in Atlanta. The pickup trucks are always cutting people off and never using
Yes.
turn
I was
signals.
gonna
BMWs are
say it.
jerks. I mean, I can profile the type of driver and the type of car a lot
Yeah.
of the times. A lot of the times.
I just let a truck in front of me today and they didn't acknowledge squat. And it was a big let. Like I stopped traffic behind me to let this guy get out of the intersection. Didn't look at me, didn't do a thing. Big, huge lifted truck. They never wave. But yeah, it's always the people in like mid-sized SUVs and minivans, maybe the people in like, the little Chevy sedan or whatever, but like Nissans never. I don't know why people in Nissans hardly ever wave at me. And then trucks, no. BMWs, Mercedes, no. Like, no. Well, okay, this is a big one for me. How do you feel about people camping in the left lane on the freeway?
I feel like this is going to divide people in different regions of the United States. This is a huge, huge pet peeve of mine here. And I know that based on traveling in different regions of the country, this rule does or does not apply as heavily. Georgia is so serious about not driving slow in the far left lane, the fast lane, that we have a law against it. Yes, my sister's got a ticket years ago for
Really? I didn't
driving
know there
too
was a
slow
law
in
in
the
the
fast
books.
lane, darn straight. Now, it really should apply across the board if you have lots of lanes, but at least give the people that are going fast the far left lane, at least. Now, there was a vehicle at some point that had maybe it's probably a big pickup truck that had a big sign on the back window that said, "If I'm passing you on your right side, you're a moron." So in theory, you should be to the farthest right lane unless you're passing somebody
Yes.
in general.
Correct.
So the flow of traffic goes so much better when people are cognizant of this and what's going on around them. Now, if you're going slow in the fast lane and someone comes up behind you and starts flashing their lights and gets on your bumper, that is an indication that you should move over.
Yes. Yes.
And you are the idiot, not the person that's on your bumper that's trying to get around you.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's what I will say. I agree to an extent, but I also think that there are people in the left lane who just want to be in the left lane and own it like it's theirs, like they paid for it or something. And that kind of annoys me too. Cause like I get, hey, slow people need to be on the right. I get it. But listen, there's 15 cars. I get over and I'm passing and I'm obviously going faster than the cars next to us. There is no reason you need to shoot over 16 lanes to get up in front of me. Just wait a second. I'm going 75 or 85 or 90 or whatever I'm going. You can wait. But these people, in my opinion, camping in the left lane isn't just about people who are sitting in the left lane and going too slow. People who act like they paid for the left lane and they have the right to be there and nobody else does, they get irritated at you when you're just using the left lane as a passing lane. And it's like, hey, man, I don't need to go 150 miles an hour to pass these people. I just need to get over and get around them. And then I will get out of your way. Don't you worry. But like, chill out. Right. Because that bugs me too. And there are times when I get really like, I don't know, like anxious about being in the left lane But a lot of times I do want to go faster than traffic, but then someone will come right up on top of me and they won't give me any time to like get over, do the right thing. Like, hey, this person wants to go faster than me. I'm going to get over. They don't give you any time for that. They just get all irritated and zip
That's the other
around
thing.
and
You've
stuff.
got to, if you're coming up on someone's bumper, you give them a fair chance to notice you and to signal and to move over, you know? And in general, like the flow of traffic, it's just as dangerous to go too slow as it is to go too fast compared to the general flow of traffic. But if everybody is generally on the same wavelength, it's safe and it's efficient.
I agree. I agree. Okay. How about people who use their phones at stoplights?
When they're okay, so it wouldn't bother me. It doesn't bother me unless they're still on their phone when the light turns green and everyone has to honk to wake them up. So if you're not capable of doing that, then be off your phone because you've just cost the light for 2 or 3 cars that would have made it otherwise.
I think there should be a rule that if you are at the stop line, you know, and this is an unwritten rule, I think. If you're at the stop line, you don't get phone time. Don't like be the last person at the stop line if you want to look at your phone. Like it's not okay. If you are at the stop line, you don't get to look at your phone. You pay attention to that light, and your only job is to step on it as soon as that light turns green and the intersection is clear.
You know
Like
what?
that is your job.
I like that. One thing that England does that we don't is they flash yellow to get ready before going back to green. So it's red, and then it goes yellow 3 seconds and then green. Whereas here, if you can look over to the side if you can see it and be ready that way from the cross street perhaps, but otherwise you're just red, you're staring, 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 then when green, you get going. So at least they give you the warning in that
Interesting.
direction as well to get ready to go.
So do they give you the warning, the yellow light between?
Yep,
So it's both times.
both times. Both
Oh, it's
times.
interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Uh, how do we feel about people who don't return shopping carts?
Yes, it kind of bugs me, but not to the extent that I've seen on YouTube where you've got folks that wee 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 with their cell phones and their bright yellow thing. I mean, I don't want a shopping cart crashing into my car and that type of thing. But at the same time, they do pay somebody from the store to come out and collect the carts and all that. I think it's better to return it to the thing like you should. I'm not going to say anything to anybody if they don't, but you go to a Walmart parking lot and you see them just everywhere and they're taking up actual parking spaces and they're flying and hitting cars. Like that's inconsiderate, you know?
Yeah, no. I think again, I feel like hell is going to have sections, and one of those sections is going to be for shopping cart people who don't know Jesus. It bugs me. It bugs me in ways that I can't even explain. Uh, I I am very intentional about putting my cart back. If I feel like it's too far to go put it in one of the here's the thing. This also bugs me. Stores got to put more out. Like you can't not have one for the first 18 rows of cars.
Sure.
Like you, put a cart thing in there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Kroger's the only one that does it right, where they've actually got cart things up at the front too. Because I'm not walking back into the store with a shopping cart. So that's just going to perpetuate the issue of people flooding the handicap spots with shopping carts because there's no shopping cart return. But I think you got to put it back. If you can't put it back, just don't use it. You know what I mean?
What about Aldi asking for a quarter, or if you're in Europe asking for a pound coin or a euro?
I mean, the fact that they have to do that is a sad, sad, sad take on our society. Like
Yeah.
we can't put things back where we get them. I mean, you're talking to the guy who leaves his shoes everywhere, but still, like I don't know. The fact that they have to do that is just it's a sad state of affairs. People just can't put a cart back. It's ridiculous.
And the thing is, if everybody did it most of the time, it would clear up so many things. This is society in general. The stuff you learn when you're in kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself. You know, don't cut in line. Don't take what's not yours, all these basic lessons from kindergarten. If we did that, I mean, this is where tickets and fines and all come from, the necessity.
Sorry, I had to have a little coughing fit. That's how worked up I got about the shopping carts. All right, what else you got? What do you got?
Oh, how about some phone etiquette stuff? Do Is it okay to just call somebody if you normally are texting each other back and forth in general?
No.
Is
No.
that crossing an invisible barrier?
Yeah. Yeah. It is today. I mean, it didn't used to be that way, but I mean, even this is gonna sound terrible, but like, um, if I am physically calling my wife or my kids, they're wondering what's wrong. Like I have something serious to say because there's a level with a phone call. You know what I mean? It's at a different level. So you don't just call people out of nowhere. That's not appropriate anymore. You got to text them first. Like, hey,
Give them a heads
can you
up.
talk for a minute?
What about texting in general or messaging, and the person never replies or never acknowledges?
That's less frustrating for me because I know I do it so much. So I just figure somebody's busy. Um, I have this thing where I will often type messages and then get distracted mid message, or the message will be fully typed and I'll be distracted and I'll just won't hit send. And I'll go back like an hour or 2 hours later and realize the message has been sitting there for 2 hours, not sent because I forgot to hit send. So I'm bad at this. I'm bad at responding in a timely manner. So I always give people a little bit more grace for that. It doesn't bug me as much. I just at the same. It's funny because with texting, I still have that mindset that someone's not looking at it all the time, and
Mm.
that's probably not accurate in today's society. People are probably looking at them all the time, but I just don't. It doesn't bother me as much.
So two different occurrences happened in the past week to me, the past couple weeks. One, childhood friend of mine, haven't talked to in years, but go way back, way back. Good, solid friend of many years. I'm kind of out of the blue, reached out to her on Facebook Messenger and asked a question casually, but it's, very, wasn't like, what's your favorite ice cream? I mean, it was specific, a question I was asking. And I saw her almost immediately typing a reply. You see the three little dots,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm,
nothing ever
mm-hmm.
came through.
Oh
And
no.
I just waited. I said, okay, well, 5 days go by and nothing comes back. And so my little way of being playful and snarky and sarcastic a little bit, I replied after 5 days of not hearing anything. And I said, good chat, LOL, with a little smiley face. And I got a long, scathing letter. You terrible person. I was thinking about replying to you, and now I'm glad I didn't. And, you have a long history and good luck to you, Billy, and cut me off. That's it. Wow. Okay. All from that. Maybe I could have said something less sarcastically, but I was my way of kind of playfully saying, it's been 5 days. You never said anything back. Now, also in the past week, also a different friend of many, many years, chatting, um, texting back and forth on a Friday night. And then I went silent. Why? Because I got sidetracked and then fell asleep. Was just chit chatting about how things had been going. Nothing real deep. And that friend, after 5 or 6 messages where I stopped replying because I'd fallen asleep, said those same words. Good chat. Now, I didn't get offended the next morning. I said, hey, my bad. I fell asleep last night. Then that person said, you are not a very good friend. You should be a better friend. And you know, I listened to what you had to say, and then you just disappeared. So I got two different sides of it. Two different sides of it. Is texting and direct messaging, is there a different sort of, uh, does it work differently than in person or on the phone as far as etiquette goes? Can you
Well,
disappear when you do disappear, or when you forget to respond, or when you get sidetracked? Is it the same crime as if you've done it and slapped them in their face in person?
it's funny. I think as things are evolving, right? people are expecting that you're going to carry on a conversation via text message in real time. But the whole point of being able to send a message discreetly is that I can do that in the midst of what else I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And like me, I'm in a car now. Recently, I'm in a car a couple hours a day, at least 3 5 hours a day. Um, I I can, thanks to the miracle of Apple CarPlay, I can carry on a text conversation, though it's a little inconsistent or incoherent at times. But yeah, I mean, I think people are getting to this expectation that they think if I text you, I want a response right now, or I expect a response right now. And it's like, hey, man, if you're using text to get a hold of me, eh, eh, I may get back to you, but I'm not going to get back to you in like instantaneously in real time. And it's funny because I tell people, like, if someone leaves me a message on my phone, when you listen to my answering machine, I say you can text me for a faster response. But that's because nobody checks voicemail anymore. So faster response, a voicemail, I might respond in 24 hours. A text message, I'll respond in a couple hours. But I think people are getting this mindset that like, oh, a text means he's going to respond in 2 minutes. I'm not. I may not be able to do that. I'm not going to try. And I think we've gotten a little overzealous about the expectations when it comes to texting.
I agree. Now more than ever, we need to have grace on each other and give people the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because first of all, that's how I want people to treat me. If I don't reply immediately, if I fall asleep on a late Friday night in the middle of texting back and forth, doesn't mean I'm a bad friend. Um, if I'm if I'm being a little snarky because I haven't got a reply in 5 days, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to listen to what you have to say and I'm a terrible human being. And uh, jumping to these conclusions is it's not helpful. And to give people grace. Now, if somebody has a reoccurring issue, then bring it up. Say, hey, there's a recurring issue with the way we communicate. And maybe they come back and say, texting isn't my forte.
Yeah.
Can we try this method instead? Or whatever the case may be. But just going to the worst possible scenario and assuming the worst is terrible. It is a lose-lose. Um,
Yeah.
Perhaps all it was their internet went out or their
Yeah.
phone died. And meanwhile, you've gone to this extreme of thinking, I mean, how many people have broken up with their significant other because they didn't get a response back? And it turns
Yeah.
out it was some innocent reason and this is crazy. This is
Yeah.
crazy. And this is still in my personal life, this is still like a regular thing with people I've known for 20 years. Do you
That's
not
crazy.
know me of after 20 years that I love you and I care about you and that if I didn't reply in 5 seconds that it's not because I'm a terrible person or I don't want to hear what you have to say? Do you not give me enough credit? Have I not built my character and integrity over time? And if that's the case, stop texting me. Call me. Let's have
Yeah.
lunch in person. I promise you'll have my undivided if it's face to face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have to maintain the reality that a text message is not the same as being in person. And it's funny because I feel really like if I'm getting text messages, I can start to get anxious if I haven't responded. And if I'm having a conversation with my wife or something, she'll be like, "I am here, standing in front of you. You need to finish this before you touch that."
Yes.
And like it's true. So we have to have that ability to say, "Hey, this is a device and yes, it keeps me connected, but I have to be able to, you know, turn it over, turn it off, shut it down, make it quiet, whatever I need to do." And that means that people who are contacting me that way are not always going to get a fast response.
And how many super important conversations do we still kind of cheat and use texting with?
Yeah, I
There's
do.
some things that are just too important or too fragile to let it go to the how might this be interpreted via email and text. If
Yeah.
it's important, if it's with a person who is more likely to misconstrue it or read between the lines, call them. Do it
Yeah.
in person. Say, I can't text. Let's wait and do this properly.
Yeah.
Because how much more time do you end up wasting on the back end trying to explain yourself or clarify or wait for them to stop being angry over nothing. It's,
Agreed. Oh, texting. All right. Well, should we do a word from our sponsor?
we have a sponsor on episode
Yeah.
10.
Well,
This is
I think
crazy. We're going to be rich.
we are. Yeah. I mentioned we should reach out to the abbreviation people last week.
Oh
So,
yeah. Did they get back to
so we
you?
reached out to them. They actually, they wanted to sponsor this episode.
Very smart. Very smart.
They actually, it's kind of another one of those public service announcements. So today's episode is brought to you by words that shouldn't be abbreviated, because clarity still matters. Simple things, appointment instead of APPT, or information instead of info. Just, people should use full words like grown adults. When you abbreviate everything, things can get confusing. Prob, is that a problem or a probability? App, are we eating or downloading something? It's harmless at first. It's just saving a little time, a few letters here and there. Okay, but then you notice something. The word abbreviated is hardly ever abbreviated. It's 12 letters, and nobody ever shortens it. Nobody even tries to shorten it. And you have to wonder, why aren't we shortening it? Because efficiency is the goal. Why leave that one untouched? Unless it's not about efficiency. What if it's about getting you comfortable not finishing things? First it's words, then it's sentences, then it's thoughts. And once you stop finishing your thoughts, you stop asking questions. And nobody asks questions about abbreviated. They just accept that it's used fully, even though it means to abbreviate. So yeah, go ahead, type MSG me for deets. I'm sure it's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It'll be okay. Words that shouldn't be abbreviated. Say the whole word while you still remember how.
I think our sponsor tapped into some unresolved conflict with you, my friend.
All right. Yeah, I think there actually is an abbreviation for the word abbreviated. But I don't know if it actually is the abbreviation for the word abbreviated. I don't know. But I think I've abbreviated it before.
We'll have to read the fine print if we're even allowed to talk about that based on our sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I finish off here if that's all right. I want to finish off with my we did this in reverse order. Billy, have you ever lost your voice before?
It's been a while, but yeah, I used to lose it a lot back in my younger days when I went to the raves and such.
I have not. I think I can count on. I don't know. This may be the one time I may have lost my voice one more time. I've lost my voice from yelling or like being at Six Flags or whatever. But this is the first time in my life I've lost my voice, like just from allergies or like, the weather or a viral infection or whatever. I gotta tell you, man, it sucks. It sucks when you when you lose your voice from yelling too much, you can still kind of eke a little something out,
Mhm.
and this, it was like I would try with all my might and it just, nothing would come out. It was like, like crazy. I got to tell you, it is no fun. And that, I have now tapped in some really great remedies, for losing your voice. So there's a couple of things that work really well, and I thought I would share them with our viewers. The first one is steam. So steam is a really good way to get your voice back. I actually had to be on the road today. And so when I left last night for the hotel, I took I have a little vapor mask, show and tell time, folks. So this is like you plug it in, you flip it on, you put water in here, and after like 4 or 5 minutes, you're like inhaling
Oh,
steam.
wow.
And actually, you can there's a little spot to put these little menthol Vicks pads in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Dude, life saver. When you're losing your voice, sore throat, laryngitis, whatever it is, game changer.
Now,
The other
if you don't
thing-
have that, could you do it just with a hot shower?
Yeah, you could actually. And that was the other thing I did, was I just ran the shower I also here's a good traveler tip. I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you don't want to waste your time ironing your clothes, you can run the shower for about 30 minutes in your hotel room with the door closed and just hang your clothes up at the end of the rack, and a lot of the wrinkles will come out.
That's great because I've never figured out how to iron clothes. I've tried many times to learn. Can't iron clothes to save my life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm decent at ironing, but you never know with those hotel irons what they've got.
Sure.
So this is a pretty easy way. It's quick. It's good for jackets. You can't really iron a jacket. The other thing I tried, and obviously they tell you moisture, hot or room temperature. Don't try not to do cold. I tried something today that I have never had a reason to try, but today I did finally. Have you ever had? I remembered it to order it, a medicine ball at Starbucks.
No.
Okay.
Is that a thing?
It's a life-changing drink at Starbucks. It's a ginger peppermint green tea, but they put stuff in it. I don't know what all they put in it. I know honey's in there, extra shot of peppermint syrup. There's some stuff in there. It tastes funny. It has some sort of like foamy texture to it. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it is the best thing for sore throat or for
So there's no
laryngitis.
ball. It's medicine ball is just the name of it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
there's like a tea bag, a special kind of tea bag, or a couple of tea bags in the bottom.
And it's
Maybe
just
that's
for
what
this
they call it
purpose.
that. But that's a game changer also. I mean,
Wow.
tea's good, but a medicine ball from Starbucks will change your whole perspective on having a sore throat or feeling even poorly with sinuses. So
Good to know.
yeah, that's your little tip for the day. For allergy season, or if you speak a lot or perform or sing, get yourself one of these. I was in a workshop for singing, a worship leading workshop, and someone suggested this, and I bought it the next day.
Good to have on hand. Yeah.
Yeah, super useful if you're talking a lot.
Very cool.
All right. Well, I guess that about covers it. What do you think?
That'll do it.
Okay. If you've got any slightly uncomfortable or unwritten rules of etiquette in life that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to comment.
I got one last one.
Okay, go.
This happened this morning. I've got to throw this in there. Listen, folks, there are in American society, at least as far as etiquette goes, there are two places where you do not have to talk to another person if they are in close proximity to you. You don't have to talk to them, and it is not considered rude. There's no obligation, and you're completely within being polite and considerate. Two places. Number one is in an elevator. You do not have to say a word to anyone in an elevator, and it is still perfectly polite. Number two is next to you on an airplane. Those are the two places. Seated on an airplane or in an elevator, you don't have to say a word, and it is not rude. I got in the elevator this morning, the 12th floor, going to work. There's a lady already in the elevator. I walk in, and she gives it a moment or two and then goes, "Good morning." And then I said, "Good morning." She said it in a snarky way because she was irritated that I didn't say good morning. Two places, elevator and airplane. You don't have to say a word. You can choose to say something and be nice, but if you don't, it is not considered rude, and don't expect anybody to do it.
Okay, I would agree with you. I think on an airplane, it's good to acknowledge the person next to you, but I guess you're right. You don't have to. What if they want to sleep? The other place where I would say it is wrong to acknowledge the person next to you, and this is a man thing only, is in a urinal. You do not speak or make noise or reference or nod or avert. Your gaze is the wall. You don't say words. You don't hum. You don't whistle. You just sit there in silence, take care of what you need to take care of, back out slowly, turn toward the sink, and go to the sink.
And
wash
don't be
your
on your
hands.
cell phone.
Cell phone? Who's on their cell phone at a urinal?
Golly. I had a coworker years ago, both of us side by side doing our thing, halfway through at each urinal, and then he says, "So, do you come here often?" Well played. Well played,
Yeah, that's
Jeffrey.
a
Well played,
no.
Jeffrey.
That's a no. Nope. Nope. We don't talk then.
I'm still chuckling all these years later, so well played.
All
Well,
right.
that about does it for us for episode
That does
10.
it for us, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, all 18 of you. Again, if you have any awkward or weird or unwritten societal rules that you want to share with us, feel free to comment. Feel free to send us an email, connect@opentabspc.com. You can always find us on our YouTube channel, OpenTabsPC, anywhere fine podcasts are found, of course. Give us a listen. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe, like, click the little bell thingy on YouTube if you want. That way you know when we release a new one. But hey, you'll know when we release a new one because it's always on Monday, Tuesday-ish. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
So long.